If you ever feel out of control around food, you're not alone, and you're in the right place to learn practical, no-nonsense information about why you binge and how to stop. Binge eating does not mean that something is wrong with you. It's a natural but primitive brain response that you can correct. If you're ready for change, sign up for the Brain Over Binge self-paced online course for less than $20 per month. And if you feel you need personalized support, we also offer one-on-one coaching and group coaching. To learn more, go to brainoverbinge.com/subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the Brain Over Binge podcast, where you learn a simple, brain-based approach to ending binge eating. I wanted to come on the show today just to talk about something that's been on my mind that relates to breaking the binge eating habit during this challenging time. This goes beyond what I talked about in the binge eating recovery during a crisis episode, which was episode 63. What I want to talk about today is the fact that an eating disorder takes so much from you. And one of the things that it seems to take is the ability to be truly present in your life. And I think this becomes most evident during hard times in your own life, or in the life of your family, or your community, or your country, or the world. Feeling so compelled to binge and purge and restrict and obsess about your weight takes away from you focusing on what's truly important to you. I know you don't want this. I know that you're not intentionally taking your focus away from meaningful matters in order to focus on food. I know this because I've been there. I remember when I was stuck in a cycle of binging and purging, having really bad things happen in my life and in the world. Just as some examples, my best friend passed away, other family members that I was close to also passed away, natural disasters affected the world, September 11th caused so much suffering, and through these events and many more, I continued to binge and continued to purge and focus on food and weight. I remember feeling like such a bad person. I remember feeling selfish because I so wanted to turn my energy outward to help others. And I so wanted to be with others in their suffering and be present with them, and to even just be present with my own suffering with an open heart. But I felt so closed down. I felt stuck. And I really beat myself up over this. I would ask myself, what kind of person continued to binge when I knew there were people in this world who were in need? I would ask myself, what kind of person would continue to spend hours and hours in the gym to try to compensate for binges when I could be using that time to make a difference in a meaningful way? Looking back, I see that the kind of person who does that is a person that's simply stuck in a vicious brain-based habit. With this habit that I had developed, my brain made it feel like my need to binge was greater than any other need in myself and in others and in the world. I knew rationally that there were so many more important things to focus on, but my experience was of feeling so incredibly compelled toward these harmful behaviors that other things faded into the background. Yes, it did feel very selfish, but it also did not feel like something I could control at the time. I did not understand the nature of habits and survival drives, and I just thought I was defective or diseased, or I thought, like I learned in therapy, that I lacked the ability to cope, and therefore I just could not deal with painful things. And binge eating was my faulty attempt to manage my emotions and manage my problems. It did feel a little better to think about it that way because it took some of the blame and self-criticism out of it. But if you listen to the podcast, you know that I've talked extensively in other episodes about why believing that binge eating was some sort of coping mechanism was not helpful and only made things worse. Now looking back, I have compassion for my past self and see things with a different perspective. But at the time, it was more difficult to grant myself that same forgiveness and compassion. But today, I want to help you give yourself compassion. I want to tell you that if you're feeling this way, and if you're feeling selfish, and if you're feeling like you simply can't focus on what's important to you, you're definitely not alone. I know that you want to focus on helping others. I know that you want to focus on creating meaningful change that you want to see in your family, and in your community, and in the world. I know that you are not your eating disorder. You're so much more than that. If you find yourself focusing on food and weight, and if you find yourself following your urges to binge and purge, this does not mean you don't care about the world's problems or about your own problems. It does not mean you don't care about your family or your friends or the people in your community who are in need. If you feel stuck in this cycle of binging and purging, It does not mean that you don't care about those who are sick or dying, or people who are oppressed or suffering. If you find yourself kind of shutting out the world and obsessing about your own body or your own weight or the binge that you had the night before, it does not mean you are selfish. If you find yourself focused so much on your own pain that comes with struggling with an eating disorder day after day, that you don't seem to have room to help others through their own pain, it does not mean that you're not compassionate. I know that you care, but I also know that an eating disorder gets in the way of your life's purpose. I know that it undermines your efforts to lead with your heart and your efforts to make a difference in your community and also in improving yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself for this, I want to encourage you to start to use this as a motivation to get this habit out of your life. I want you to use it as a reason to start dismissing your urges to binge and start learning to eat in a normal way. Now, you don't have to wait until you're recovered to start focusing on what's important to you and to start focusing on helping others. Once you begin to understand your brain and how it's habitually pulling you back toward the harmful thoughts and behaviors, you can consciously redirect your attention. And once you do that over and over, you'll weaken the habit that has kept you stuck for so long. Breaking the binge eating habit does not mean you'll be perfect, but you'll give yourself a chance to lead a more purposeful life and contribute to the world in meaningful ways and be more present for those in your home and in the world who need you. The next thing I want to mention in this episode is that I have 4 free audios and a couple more resources to share with you that I hope you'll find useful as you let go of this habit. The 4 audios are part of a new free preview of the Brain Over Binge course. Anyone can use the resources in the preview. You do not need to sign up or register. There's a link in the show description to the course preview, or you can go to brainoverbinge.com and simply click course in the main menu. Once you're in the free preview, you'll receive instructions and guidance on using the resources. 2 of the audios that you'll get are Q&A audios from the course, and I think you'll find these audios helpful during this time. The audios give detailed answers to these questions. The first one is, how much focus should I put on recovery? The discussion on this audio relates in some ways to what I talked about earlier about turning your attention to other things that are more important in your life. Sometimes it's not just binge eating and the suffering that causes that drains your time and energy. Sometimes you might find that your efforts to recover are consuming your life as well. Now, you absolutely should do what you need to do to help yourself overcome binge eating, but it's important to consider how to balance living your life and working on your recovery. The second Q&A audio that you'll get in the free preview addresses incessant food thoughts and just constantly thinking about eating, which you may be dealing with now if you're spending extended time at home or working from home and food is in close proximity and you find yourself always thinking about it. Constantly thinking about food is also something that distracts you from living the life that you want to live and being present for others in your life who need you. You'll also get a coaching audio in the free preview to help you stay motivated to be binge-free each day. And each day that you're binge-free, you give yourself a chance to be the person that you want to be. Again, that does not mean that you'll be perfect. None of us are. But without a destructive habit in your life, you can better share your gifts with the world. Before I end today, I just want to make a very quick announcement about the coaching audios. There are 15 total audios that are part of the Brain Over Binge course, and those 15 audios are also available separately. I want to let you know that now and in the future, when you get the coaching audios, you'll also get lesson 1 of the course. The reason for this is that I want everyone who uses the coaching audios to have a strong foundation in understanding the concepts of the Brain Over Binge approach. And Lesson 1 provides that understanding and more. Because of the addition of Lesson 1, the price of the coaching audios will go up on July 7th. I want to give you plenty of time to still get the coaching audios at their current price and get Lesson 1 included at no additional cost. You can learn more through the link in the show description. I hope that you'll be able to use the audios and the other resources that are available to you in the free preview of the course. Remember, all you need to do is go to brainoverbinge.com and click course in the main menu. I hope that you and your family are doing okay and staying healthy and doing your best to find the good in the world and to be the good in the world during this difficult time. With that, I'll wrap up today's show. I really appreciate you being here, and today and always, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have the power to change your brain and live a binge-free life. The Brain Over Binge podcast is produced and recorded by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC. All work is copyrighted by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC, and all rights are reserved. As a disclaimer, the hosts of the Brain Over Binge podcast are not professional counselors or licensed healthcare providers, and this podcast is not a substitute for medical advice or any form of professional therapy. Eating disorders can have serious health consequences, and you are strongly advised to seek medical attention for matters relating to your health. Please get help when you need it, and good luck on your journey. Need more help? You can find all of our current and upcoming options for support at brainoverbinge.com.